Hello, you feathering mad fucks, and welcome to my boss guide of how to beat Mommy Commander Honglan in Wuchang Fallen Feathers. You didn't pay attention to a fucking single word I said, did you? Did you? In this video, I'm gonna show one proven way and one build that any idiot worth their salt and pepper can use to beat and bring this bitch to her knees. Now in this video, the guide is definitely going to be focused on none other than the Unga Boonga axe. Because who the fuck needs to dodge when you can prevent the other person from even playing the game? Honestly guys, jokes aside, this is definitely one of the easiest strats and tactics you can use to push yourself through, and it honestly requires limited to minimal dodging. Before we get into the build and prep portion of the guide, I wanted to highlight that for those that are interested, I am making a 100% walkthrough guide of the game, and within that walkthrough, I talk about other builds you can use. Honestly, aside from the axe, the one-handed sword magic build is probably comparable in terms of ease of use, followed by dual blades and the long sword. And sorry, spear mainhanders, you're out of luck. For me, the spear is predominantly better as an offhand. With that shameless plug out of the way, let's get into it. Hello everyone, welcome to the prep and build portion of the guide. In this build, we are going to be using none other than the Empyrean Great Axe because it has the biggest dick. Specifically, we are going to be using the discipline Earth Shatter that provides significant resilience so that you can have near 100% uptime on the boss without being flinched yourself. The Benedictions we want to use is Skyborn Ward, Skyborn Vigor, and Skyborn Discipline. Based on the build constantly proccing 5 Skyborn Mites, these will stack, making the effects much more potent. You'll have more reduced damage, greater recovery speed, and greater potency of discipline skills. We'll be walking through the boss strategy and rotation during the fight. By no means will you be using the Lashing Whip in this guide. In regards to armor, she does do all 3 damage types of slash, blunt, and stab, but does favor slash and stab. And for this reason, the Centipede armor set is by far the best armor for damage mitigation against this bitch. You can purchase this armor by submitting your Great Centipede boss special item to Tao King in Shu Sanctum. If you can't afford these items, you can easily farm early game Mercury, and I will post that in the description how you can do that below. If you're really lazy and don't want to do that, you can by far substitute that for the Ming armor set, and you get that just outside Shu Sanctum when you kill that guard. Again, if you want to know where that is, you can watch my 100% walkthrough. For pendants, because build really exhausts stamina, that's probably the weakest part of the build, is that you'll frequently run out of stamina by getting off your combo chains. The Twin Infant Pendant is mandatory, and this is honestly mandatory for any build up until this point, regardless what weapon type you use. The second we want to apply is the Gourd Pendant. This helps us to reduce damage while below a certain HP threshold. This is especially good because she tends to be extremely aggressive, and there, especially in the second phase, and there are limited windows to heal. We'll be talking about what those windows are, but this just makes it so we can keep ourselves alive until those windows come up. The third one option is you can swap this out. The Dracolite Pendant, she does not make you flinch by any means from a roar, but there is a reduction in damage taken as well. You could substitute for increased stab attack power. Now the axe does primarily blunt damage, but it does do stab attacks as well, so you could increase your damage here. Now, unfortunately, I do not believe she counts as a large enemy, so the Fiend Felling Pendant won't work. Not to mention, this is a boss fight. You gain health upon defeating enemies. Well, why would you ever use that when you're only killing her once? So this is useless. She tends to move a lot as well, so you're not going to get any throwable attacks on her. She is likely to dodge, so making the Phoenix Pendant as well as the Monkey Pendant quite useless in this case. You definitely don't want to use a Ludian Pendant because although you get reduction in damage, you increase your stamina cost, and you really need stamina to proc your full light attack combo with the axe. This, of course, is irrelevant because, well, you're probably going to be ending up dying a lot. You're going to want to exhaust your red Mercury anyway before you head into this fight. So with that being said, these are the 3 pendants we take. You could absolutely substitute this with the Jade Pendant as well. I haven't done the fucking big brain math to know which one is more optimized, but provided that we're going to be sticking close to her vagina and ass 100% of the fight, I prefer the reduction in damage. But again, feel free to make any suggestions in the comments for others to learn. Moving on, by far, the only spell you're going to want to use is the Divine Ward. This will apply reduction in damage taken, and I believe the buff lasts for around 20 to 25 seconds, but please write it in the comments and keep me honest if that's the case. We will be cycling this spell alongside our Discipline Earth Shatter. That's going to be our core rotation of the build. More on that later. From a quick slot item standpoint, you absolutely want to have your mana vases. You should have +5 charges up until this point. This is a good one, Crimson Lantern Fruit for the reduced stamina cost. You could also make a case to substitute this for Soft Rush Flowers, which boosts stamina recovery speed. I do tend to favor the Crimson Lantern Fruit, however. Secondly, we're going to want to use Plumbed Branches. This allows us to have 5 stacks of Skyborn Might. This is going to be essential for the opener of the fight, but also if you find yourself running out of stamina and you really need to proc the Divine Ward or the Earth Shatter, you certainly can make a case to proc this during the fight as well, but typically this will only be procced at the start of the fight. And of course, we want to have our Temperance so that we can proc our Leech. There will be specific moments in the fight that it gives you the time to reapply this. Typically, the rule of thumb is if you have 3 Temperance charges, that should more than enough have 100% uptime on your Temperance buffs. Now, in terms of just character stats, when I beat the boss, I was at level 28. That should be more than sufficient when you get up to this point. This boss is optional, so you can go ahead and proceed and play the game and come back to this later, but we're no bitches on this channel. If you do need extra levels, again, my farming guide for early game Red Mercury will be linked in the description and popped up in this video right here. Now, this is just preference, but in order to reduce the amount of time that she's in her second phase, we want to have the most damage possible. So what we've done here is we're going to be 100% Madness in the fight. I find that you always want to play Madness, like the increased damage that you receive is often mitigated with the damage that you do. And again, you do have increased resistances, but she doesn't do any resistances in this fight. Now moving on to the most important part of the build, and that of course is the skill points. Don't worry about the shrine. You will have access to it when you defeat her, when you've earned it. Anyway, let's go into the skill points and I'll let you know what we've done here. Starting off in the build, of course, you're going to be leveling in the axe and passive skill tree to the left. Starting with the left, of course, you're going to max out your mana capacity and mana potency for the increased mana charges, as well as the amount of HP it heals. Banking left, get your vitality nodes. We're going to be going down and getting Leech. Leech is what you're going to be proccing on your axe using the Temperance item. This allows us to have really good sustain, and because the name of the game is doing massive light attack combos, chaining Earth Shatter, and then intertwining Divine Wards for reduced damage in between that, this will make us have really good sustain. So you're going to want to have near up 100% or 100% uptime on this Temperance buff. You can, of course, if you have extra additional levels, go to Rapid Temperance. This is really going to be good because you'll be able to apply that Leech buff a lot faster. So if you are going to have additional levels, like level 30, go ahead and take a point in here. But there are moments in the boss where you will apply will be able to apply the temperance buff without the increased haste. Moving in, we have an additional acupoint for our temperance buff, the additional charges, because we want to have at least 3 temperance charges. And we're going to bank all the way left till we have the maximum Skyborn Might. This build cannot function without having 5 Skyborn Might, so we really want to make use of that. This will make it so we can cycle between our Divine Ward spell as well as the Earth Shatter. Moving up to the axe portion of the guide, we're going to make up our tree. Of course, the third attack of a light attack combo restores some stamina. That's going to be very important. We're going to go to the right and increase the attack speed of our light attacks. We want to proc that Skyborn Might and get through that attack chain as fast as possible. And then moving in, we're going to, of course, get our max out mastery. So you should have +3 in this case. And then we're going to get to the true crux of the build, which is Earth Shatter. This is going to bolster resilience, making it so it's difficult for you to get interrupted, and we do not want to be interrupted. And then we're able to proc a powerful shockwave that allows her to flinch as well. And we're going to buff that up, exposing their vulnerabilities even more. And then, of course, granting resilience for longer duration. At level 28, you can certainly make the case to sub and get some much needed strength and stamina as well. If you have the additional levels, so level 30 or 32 in this case, right? If you want the rapid temperance buff, you can absolutely make it so you can go to chop and weave. This makes it so the third attack will clash, reducing the damage even further. So I do recommend at least level 30 to level 32 in this fight. I made it with level 28 just to purposely cuck myself with the fight, but absolutely with level 30, you're going to want to make your way to chop and weave instead of axe and hook. Moving on to temperance, you're absolutely going to want to have the leech equipped. This gives us the best sustain in the fight. And then, of course, at this point, you're going to have your stone, needle, strength, and agility. The axe primarily scales with strength, but can with agility as well. So for the boss strategy of the fight, we're gonna wanna have near 100% uptime on this bitch, because we are going to be constantly striking our full 4 light attack combo. That 4th hit again is gonna grant us a lot of Skyborn Might, needed to then proc either Earth Shatter, right, or the spell Divine Ward, and we're going to be cycling through those and using our Skyborn Might only for those spells. So for an example, we're going to just keep spamming, attacking, right, proccing Divine Ward, and then if the Divine Ward buff is active, which typically takes 20 seconds, then instead we're going to want to use Earth Shatter, and it honestly is rinse and repeat. That covers the base core rotation and strategy of this fight. You're going to want to have 100% uptime on your temperance charges, so you could have leech and the increased agility and strength, and then also the plumed feather. You're going to want to proc at the start of the fight in order to start the fight with 5 Skyborn Might. Then, of course, we're going to want to use the Crimson Fruit at the start of the fight so that we can have reduced stamina cost, as again, the only weakness of this build is that it definitely takes a lot of stamina. So there will be some dodging that you'll have to do as that stamina recuperates. There are moments in which you can certainly heal throughout the fight. That is when you've casted an Obliterate and she's stunned. There are other moments in the fight that will allow you to heal, but with that being said, I think it's better just to jump into the fight. I'll start and stop, and then hopefully that can explain the general motion of the fight and what to look out for, and the specific timings of when you can reapply either a heal, right, the reduced stamina, the 5 Skyborn Might, or the temperance charges. So that being said, let's get into the fight. Okay, so this is the encounter portion of the guide. This is a previous encounter. I didn't have a backup save to do this live, and I find that stop and starting the video will allow me to better explain my decision making as well as the bitch's mechanics. Okay, so starting off, of course, we want to have Madness going into this fight. We're going to be using Divine Ward as well as Earth Shatter. Those are the only 2 disciplines and spells we're going to use when using our Skyborn Might. Always 100% uptime on the boss and staying aggressive. Okay, so if we move in, first thing you want to do is apply that feather. This will allow us to, of course, gain 5 Skyborn Might immediately. And that's how we want to start the fight. And you can get these flowers in the invoke section of the shrine, which also builds your madness, so that's always good. Moving in now, I do have these flowers that increases stamina recovery speed. You could either use these or the other red flowers that reduces stamina cost. It's really up to you, but in this case, I do think the reduction in stamina cost is better because we already have the kind of increased recovery speed from the pendant. So in this case, right, either or is fine. And then of course, lastly, we're gonna apply our temperance charges. So we have leech. Okay, let's get into the fight. Okay, first thing she's always gonna do is charge at you. You're gonna wanna simply dodge, time the dodge so you can get some divine might. You're always gonna wanna bait her charge. And that's typically how you're gonna recover stamina, because again, the weakness of this build is the stamina usage, okay? Divine Ward, you can proc at the start before she lunges in and then dodge to get the extra Skyward Might. In this case, I did not proc it at the start and use Bone Shatter to get her to flinch, but I would say Divine Ward right off the start. So dodge, get the Skyborn Might, right? And then here, in this case, I did a Bone Shatter. Now we're gonna be blocking our 4 light attack combos, and you can see we instantly get max Skyborn Might, and then this allows us to apply it on the Divine Ward. We're always gonna wanna chase her and essentially go toe to toe, right? Fuck dodging. We don't even need to dodge and learn mechanics, right? And especially through some of her, especially if you have that clash skill, it's gonna make the reduction of damage so much better than what I'm encountering here. But that's all we're gonna do. And you can see here, this right here, this is the Divine Ward buff. So it's typically about 20 seconds. So you're gonna wanna cycle 2 Earth Shatters, 1 Divine Ward, 2 Earth Shatters, 1 Divine Ward, constantly going 100% uptime, flinching her, building her poise, right? Now you can see here I'm low on stamina. She's unfortunately backed away, and now I can breathe. And then of course there's that dash. So anytime you need stamina, you can simply back away, and then she essentially around medium distance away, you're basically gonna be able to, she's gonna be proccing that dash after you. And that's the easiest way, just to dodge, time those dodges, and then continuing the rotation, right? So here we go, right? Here we go, proccing Divine Ward, building up the 4 combo. This case, we have Obliterate. So when you get your first Obliterate, this is an excellent time to heal, and this is an excellent time to apply your Temperance. Now, the first thing you want to do, of course, is stab her, right? Make sure you get off that combo. That is going to do some crazy, crazy HP regen off that leech. You should have the Temperance buff in time for your first Obliterate. And then now here we can proc our buffs. She's on the ground, as you can see. You know, I applied the Temperance charge, right? I didn't heal in this case, but you could do that if it's really low. And then we're just gonna constantly apply pressure, right? Now she's gonna move into her second phase, and the best thing to do is, again, try to get 100% uptime. Don't back away and try to dodge the waves, because I find that she'll proc the waves a lot more when you're at that medium distance. So the further closer we in, we're just gonna take her fucking hits, because we have enough resilience, damage reduction, right? So here is just rinse and repeat, right? We're constantly being against her. Now we need stamina, so we have to dodge that, but as you can see, I'm dodging forward and trying to get towards her. Now, she will have the dash after the initial wind strike. So again, we want to be close to her. We want to dodge her dashes at the last minute and then retain 100% uptime. Now, we're trying to make her flinch at this point because we don't really have much room for healing. So I'm stepping back. I was fortunate to proc a heal. There is a moment in which you can do that. When you're really close to her and then you back up for a heal, she typically changes her attack patterns. That's a good way to heal. But there is an encounter, and I hope that it shows, is when she starts doing a bunch of swings and then she jumps in the air and then throws herself down. That's a perfect opportunity to heal or regain stamina as well. So here, again, we dashed, applying Divine Might. Now I'm gonna go for Earth Shatter. There we go. You can see we're almost at the second Obliterate, which buys me time. We only used 1 mana vase at this time. Only 1, and you can see the pendant is working too. The increased damage reduction is working because we're getting lower and lower HP thresholds too. So here we go, right? Trying to get the full combo. I know I can obliterate soon. Bam, there we go. We're gonna do the stab her, right? You can see you see the health increase that we just got. And now this time, I'm probably gonna apply temperance. I'm probably gonna apply the flower, right? You may have only time for 2. So, you know, HP is certainly fine, right? What do I do here? I do HP and I do the temperance, right? And then I do Divine Ward. And then here we go. Rinse and repeat. The fight is pretty much over at this point. I have low stamina. I'm kind of panicking, I think, at this point. So don't do what I did. You know, I'm not pro gamer by any means. So here I'm trying to just remain close to her. I'm getting hit. I think I get my ass kicked here pretty hard. But even just to show you, right? Easy dodge, but I'm trying to back away just so I can bait her strike. You can see I'm panicking to get the mana vase. I could have easily gotten a mana vase there. Woo, boy, it's a fight, right? It's a fight. So I panicked. I didn't even use the quick slot. If you don't have to cycle like an idiot like me, you can hold the square or X key and it can bring up, and then you can use the bumpers for quicker usage of that. So do that. Don't do what I did there. Anyway, I just want to show you. You know what? I'm just doing this on purpose to show you how effective you can last with Leech and this pendant, right? So here I am, really panicking at this point, and I'm just trying to buy time by backing away. I got fortunate there, and then I'm ready just to finish the fight, right? Proccing the combos. I really want her to jump up so I can show you what that is, what that combo is. But anyway, rinse and repeat, guys, right? Shatter, Divine Ward, shatter, shatter, Divine Ward. You know, and in this case now, the only reason I didn't finish the fight is because I thought, well, maybe I should die and then do this video with other builds like the longsword. But I'm just going to do that in the walkthrough. So yes, just finish the fight at this case, and you should be good to go. So that's basically the fight, guys, right? And now I'm going to pause it so I don't ruin any lore or spoilers for you guys. So that's the fight. It's just pounding your way through fucking resilience and pure determination and grit and sweat and blood to try to kill the boss. But you could see there, I mean, I think I finished the fight with about, well, just 1 mana vase left. But you can see I really fucked up the ending. I lost momentum. The momentum of just getting that 4-attack combo right, you know, getting Divine Ward, Earth Shatter, Divine Ward, Earth Shatter, backing up, stamina, right? And then finding those moments where you can heal. Again, when she's in the obliterate area and you can proc that 2 times throughout the fight. We almost had 3. There's that time to add the temperance, to add the flower stamina recovery or reduction stamina cost. There is the time to heal during that time. There is a move in phase 2 where she goes up in the air again and jumps down. That is an excellent way to proc a heal or a temperance or whatever have you. Now, we didn't even have rapid temperance, and we didn't even have the ability to clash on our 3rd light attack swing. Those 2 alone will make this fight a lot easier. Anyway, jack-offs, that's it for this one. I hope it was helpful. Yes, I know there's probably other builds like the one-handed sword magic build, right? Where you're just using the Echo of Lungziu. Apologize for butchering that, right? There's other builds, or using the counter longsword build, which is a bit more difficult and more of a get good type of strat. But I will be covering that again with my 100% walkthrough. Anyway, leave comments for others to learn, for myself to learn. And if you'd like this, please like and subscribe. It really helps me out a lot. And if you're interested in my 100% walkthrough, it will be in the description and added in this video. Anyway, jack-offs, with that being said, I'll catch you on the next one.